Like I said, right now, thank you so much, Shan. It's going like, I think it was at almost 10,000 views the last time I had checked. And somebody had said, how did you know to do this? Because I'm struggling. So you guys, I've lost 45 pounds so far. I was close to 300 pounds. I haven't been this size that I am now probably since high school. I was the person who was always considered the thick chick. You know, that was always me. I never was the petite athletic build. I was always considered a thick chick. And I've always been on some type of weight loss journey of wanting to get smaller. And so with having kids and dealing with having to deal with, I went from being just insulin resistant to being pre-diabetic to then having undiagnosed PCOS. I always tell you guys, yes, it was undiagnosed because the doctors refused to test me, even though I have every single symptom almost except like extreme like facial hair, but usually that's because you have another diagnosis as well, except like extreme facial hair and like cysts on my ovaries. But I did deal with, you know, the chin hair and all of that. And so, like I said, a person had asked me, how did you know to stop doing these things? Like how did you know to like stop the lifting and start walking? How did you know to start drinking more water? How did you know, like everything that y'all see that I do, how did you know to take fiber every single day? This is my fiber drink. Well, I didn't make it, but I do fiber every single day. Pick a fiber that you love, low sugar, no sugar, not low sugar, a no sugar fiber supplement. Metamucil makes one. It's a ton of them out there. Pick one and have it every single day. So people ask me like, how did you know to do this? And I would say like, I didn't know at first. This person who had commented said, because I'm so lost and I just don't understand, like nothing is working. And that's the stage that I was in. I was the person who yo-yo dieted. And so I have tried every single diet out there. So if you want to know what keto do to you, I'll let you know. If you want to know what OMAD do to you, holla at me, I'll let you know. I was vegan for 4 years and I tried I need to do the Dr. Sebi thing. Then I need to do, I can't do Dr. Sebi because they say a lot of stuff ain't really vegetables or really ain't it's man-made. So let me just go back to plant-based because I can't wreck my head on what's man-made and what's not man-made when we've been eating the same fruits and vegetables since I was a child and it's always been here. So I'm not getting ready to drive, 30-40 miles up the road to go find this thing that I'm only supposed to be eating because that is unrealistic for me. Like, it's just, I don't even like to drive. So that didn't work. So I'm like, let me go plant-based. That only worked for a certain amount of time. All of these things that I tried, I could say that I lost 20 pounds. Like, so everybody who is saying lose weight, do this, go keto, cut your carbs, all of this stuff, I did all of this stuff, right? I did all of this stuff. But as soon as I would have that time of not being disciplined, like I said, there's no such thing, you're disciplined. But we'll speak on that later. When I had the times of not having enough willpower, and I just was like, when life was life, and I would go back into my emotional eating stage because I'm an emotional eater. Guess what? All that 20 pounds will come back and more. And so it would just keep me in a state of discouragement. It would keep me in a state of frustration. It would keep me in a state of me knowing that I want to be a positive thinker. That I went through the part of beating up on myself. I went through the part of having a whole lot of negative self-talk with myself based off what people have called me or told me in my past. I would replay those things to myself, and so once I started to grow and once I started to strengthen my mental health, I knew that those things that I would say to myself was not constructive in any kind of way. And so once I started developing my self-love for myself, I really started combating that negative self-talk and I would just be positive to myself. But I'm like, okay, I can be positive all day long. I can have a whole mirror full of affirmations all day long. I'm reading books. I'm listening to all the podcasts. I'm doing all of this. But at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror, my belly is still hanging over my pants. At the end of the day, when I look in the mirror, I'm still having to get this shirt that go like this because I want my belly not to, you know, be the focal point of my outfit. So no matter how much I'm being positive to myself and trying to do the right thing, like I'm changing habits. You know, I had got to not even being a person who ate like your average, like, I guess if you want to say unhealthy eater, your standard American diet. I wasn't the kind of person who was eating a standard American diet. I was eating pretty much clean. But I had no clue that foods that are considered healthy, just because they are healthy doesn't mean that they are insulin resistant friendly. And so once I started to go through my checklist, am I fatigued after I eat? Check. Do I have brain fog? Check. Am I having moments of feeling down or sad when nothing around me is feeling down or sad, and I think that I'm having some type of undiagnosed depression or anxiety? Yeah, check. Let me check all of this stuff. You know, am I having insomnia? Am I like having trouble sleeping at night? Yes, check. So I'm checking all of this stuff because it got to the point where, yeah, how I looked in the mirror didn't look like me, but then also how I felt, I didn't feel like me. So I wasn't happy. I was down. I was stressed. I was fatigued. Even after having a whole night's sleep, I still would need to get some rest, you know. And so all of this stuff kept happening to where I end up stumbling across insulin resistance. And I stumbled across it. It's something I know that I have been having for a long time, 10 plus years, right? And I always knew that I had it, but I never knew how much it affects the weight. I also never knew that it is really the root of everything. I just talk about on my channel, I just talk about insulin resistance, PCOS, type 2 diabetes, and pre-diabetes. Like, because those are the things that I've dealt with personally. And so those are the things that I speak on. But when I tell you insulin resistance, from arthritis to IBS to different autoimmune disorders to dry skin to eczema to psoriasis to, like, if you having an issue with different things, this don't even have to do with the weight, but that's another thing, stubborn weight gain where you cannot get it off. Insulin resistance, y'all, is the root. And so you're not crazy, you're not undisciplined, you just are unaware how extreme this thing is because doctors don't diagnose this. Doctors do not diagnose this. You will never know that you are insulin resistant unless you get another diagnosis like pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes. You won't even know from IBS because, like, that insulin resistance can be a root of that, but they won't say that. But pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, we pretty much know that those things deal with insulin. And so you can, bet that you are insulin resistant. You won't even think about it when you think of PCOS. And so, like, when I used to be looking at a lot of the weight loss videos, this was another thing that I searched. So, like, to answer, I'm just answering this woman's question, but I'm answering in a very, very long-winded way because I'm very, very long-winded, y'all. A lot of the weight loss videos that had PCOS that I used to binge watch, and they transformation videos, I would go through the whole videos to get to the end for them to say that they end up having a weight loss surgery or they had injections, whether it be Ozempic, Zepbound, or anything like that. And I'm like, no, I really want to do it naturally. Like, I'm really scared of the side effects when I'm watching the videos on this, because I am watching those videos too, and I'm scared of that. Like, I'm scared to have those different side effects, and then just seeing family members who have had the surgeries and all of that, just seeing what they battle with. It's like, I'm scared of that. And so I started to research these things. Like I said, I was scared, but I'm like, I'm so desperate to wanting to see myself and feel like myself that this is probably a possibility for me. Like I just have to research it, and I have to get myself comfortable. And so I'm the personality that I research everything. Like if somebody tell me something, or if I'm thinking about doing something, I'm about to search. Like I'm consumed with it. Like that's just my personality, right? So consumed with this thing and learn about like GLP-1 injections and all of that. I stumbled across like that's something that we actually have in our body. And then learn about insulin resistance and learning what it is and why you can't lose weight and what are insulin resistant friendly foods. Learn about all of that stuff and understanding, okay, so sugar is a big factor. And this is natural sugar, so don't think, well, I don't do sugar, I put honey in my tea. Okay, that's still fructose and you're still spiking your insulin. We don't know this, right? Because we've been told that this stuff is healthy. So it's not like we're trying to still consume a high glycemic food or still do something that harm our body. We are actually trying to do something that is helping our body, and we're trying to make the changes, but we're not even knowing that the changes that we're making are still having an effect on us. Like we're not knowing that if you was going to have honey, you should have just had sugar. Like if you was going to put honey in your tea, you could have just put sugar in your tea. We don't know that. We really don't know that. That's not really broadcast to us, because any health like diet or something that you try to do, they all start going the natural way. And so it's like, oh, this is natural sugar. But when you are insulin resistant, it's all sugar. Our body does not know the difference. Our insulin is still going to spike high because it's a resistance. So think of anything that's a resistance, right? That weight is a resistance. Everything is a resistance. And so when something is a resistance, it's not flowing, how it should be. It's resistant. So you have to cut it off. But one thing that I love, y'all, this is like a side part of me that y'all probably didn't like. I mean, y'all probably didn't know. Hopefully y'all like it, but y'all probably didn't know. I love to study human behavior. For one, I love to get into the nuances of mental health. That's always been something I've been very, very passionate about for a very long time, probably close to 15, 20 years, I really once wanted to be a therapist, but I said I probably can't hear a lot of stories because I'll be ready to go to war. Like I'll be ready to like, listen, I clock out at 6. We ride. So I knew that wasn't for me, because I feel people so deeply that I'll be ready to ride for them. If somebody ain't got their kids, I'll be like, just bring the kids over. Or now I'll probably be busy, so maybe you can't bring the kids over, but you need some money. Okay, I'll be giving money. I'll be doing all of that stuff because I just be wanting to see people win, right? And so I love everything that is encompassing of human behavior. So what I stumbled across on, not from reading, but just through my own thing, is human behavior, right? And I studied just looking at my past and looking at why I always like fell back into things, as far as like, why did I binge eat? Because that was an emotional attachment for me. Like that was emotional comfort. When I started diets, whether it be keto or OMAD or whatever, what was the thing that when I had my cheat day, what was the thing that I went after? So I looked at all of those different things, and it's like once I had that cheat day, like it was hard to like get back on the wagon, so to speak. And then I really subconsciously, I didn't even know that I would get back on the wagon, but I just would replace what I was doing with the natural stuff that we just talked about. So yeah, I wasn't eating the cake, but I wasn't eating the cake anime, but I was like drowning everything I ate, in honey. Or I was eating, Like I wanted all the bananas, all the fruit, all of this. So I was still feeding this beast, right? Like the e-god is taming the beast. I was still feeding this beast. So that was something that clicked to me. And I said, okay, so I think that this is an addiction. I ain't gonna say the word no more. I think that this is a dependency on something. We'll say that because TikTok already got me in TikTok jail. I can't message nobody. I can't reply to no DMs. Like they still got me in TikTok jail, y'all. So let me not say that word because that's why I'm in there right now. So that was a thing that I went back on. And this is a serious thing, y'all. So when people say you just not being disciplined enough, will somebody tell somebody that who is suffering from alcoholism? Will somebody tell somebody that who is suffering from addiction? Like, will somebody say that to somebody who is suffering to break some type of form of, dependency on something? No, it will be more grace. It will be more kindness. It will be more understanding. But us having this food reliancy for different things that have a lot of sugar in it, we get told that we're not disciplined enough. Just stop eating it. Just stop eating it. I mean, that's all you gotta do is quit buying it, right? Like that's what we get. No kind of no empathy at all. And so I had to understand that this was the root of this was the beast that was feeding that root of insulin resistance. Like I said, if you look at a tree, insulin resistance is all the roots. It's all the roots. And so many diagnoses are the branches and the limbs and the leaves and all of that. And pretty much almost every single diagnosis that you can come across, the roots of it is insulin resistance, especially if you are in America because they put sugar in all of our food. Like, the companies have a job to do. So we can't really bash them because they have a job to do. They have a job to sell product. They have a job to get us to like their products. And so maybe they took a shortcut and they added a little bit more sugar because they know that sugar hits our taste buds and gives us a dopamine hit, just like anything else. It sends a sense of pleasure. And so you, of course, want to buy something that is pleasurable to you, right? And so I had to break that stem. Sorry, you guys, my kids are in here. They don't even be upstairs. So I had to break that stem of that. Like I said, the e-guide, my 4-week challenge e-guide is on Black Friday sale right now. Cyber Monday sale right now for $5. Today is the only day for the $5. And it's a 4-week thing. You get the full access version. So you get everything for $5. The link is in my bio if you haven't got it. And this thing took me like almost a month to create. So it's jam-packed with a lot of stuff. So I said, okay, I know that this is the thing. This is the practical thing. This is the logical thing. It's the sugar. Okay, we get it. We know it. But like I said, I love human behavior. And with me loving human behavior, I'm very a self-aware person on myself. Like it's a blessing and a curse because I'm very self-aware. And so sometimes I can be really down on myself and critique myself and criticize myself because I just feel like since you know it, then you should be able to fix it, right? But I had to learn just because you know something and you possibly know how to fix it, it doesn't mean that you know the path it takes to get there. So sometimes when you are self-aware, and like I said, I have my free insulin insight calls, all the ladies who I speak with are self-aware. Like nobody is at a stage of really not knowing what's going on with them. Like as far as what their obstacles are, what's hindering them, what they need to get better in, what they trying to like do and move. Like nobody has sat on the phone with me and not said a word. Nobody has sat on the phone with me and like, well, you told me to call or you told me to book, so I booked. I don't really know what's going on. Nobody has sat on the call and did that. We have all had a conversation, right? Because people know what's going on in their own life. And so me, like I said, being a person who have been told that I'm a self-aware person, I know what the problem is and I'm gonna research until like I fall asleep with my phone in my hand like this, or I'm at the library and I'm like asking them what section is this, and I'm watching YouTube videos and I'm looking at this and I'm searching this and I'm looking at Reddit stuff and I'm looking at all kind of articles. Like when I tell you I'm researching, I'm doing deep dive researching. I'm putting in full-time student hours into solution, right? But most of those things in that path do not give human behavior realistic strategies. That's what I found out. Most things that people tell you to do to work is the perfection thing that you should do. It doesn't take into effect real stress. It doesn't take into effect you having to work, overtime. It doesn't take in or to consideration. It doesn't take into consideration you having family in your living room for that week and you weren't even expecting it. It doesn't take into effect you having to, help your family out, and so now you are having to put yourself on the to-do list because your priorities are so big and they need to be done right at that moment that everything else has to wait. Like, most of the things of me, I know maybe a lot of you ladies don't have children, but most of the things for me is almost nobody has is a single mom. So that's one of my barriers. So our barriers, even though I love it, it's still, okay, this is my life. This is the real part of my life. So how do I make this work? Because this article that I just read said I need to eat this like this and this like this and all this time. But listen, when I go grocery shopping, this is the budget and I gotta stick with that budget. I can't be buying all this food like I'm buying stuff for 2-3 different households. Like, it don't work like that, right? And so every single month I try something. Go get what's the name? Every single month I try something different for myself. And I said, oh, no, that really didn't work. Oh, this worked a lot. But okay, this worked a lot, but was it easy to do, or was it hard to do, or was it like right in the middle? Like was the oatmeal too hot, too cold, or just right? But if y'all watch me, y'all know y'all do chia pudding. Y'all don't do no oatmeal. Okay, warmed up. And so I started to do this. By the end of each month, I got it down packed to what really worked, right? Each month, I got it down packed of what really worked, like what really stuck, what was not easy to where it felt like I wasn't pushing myself at all, but what wasn't so hard where it felt like that I was really having to clear out my whole life for it to work. And so, the first step I did, of course, was everything that I had in my refrigerator, my cabinets, my freezer. If I looked at the back of the ingredients and where it said added sugar, if it didn't have a 0 there, I didn't eat it. That was the first thing. And so I started to be creative because our mind is going to find, creative ways to still get what we want. And so for ketchup, I started buying no sugar added. I'm still going to eat my ketchup, but I'm eating no sugar added ketchup. For a lot of the sauces and stuff that I like, I love the G Hughes. Like, all of his sauces are sugar free, and most of them are pretty good. That he has some that's like the Polynesian sauce. He has some that's like the Chick-fil-A sauce. He has like a lot of different ones, right? Barbecue sauce, he has a lot of different ones, but they're all sugar free. So I'm like, I still want to eat what I want to eat, but I can't have this sugar. Like the added sugar gotta not be in there, right? So that was like my first step of what I did, and I basically ate the same. Like nothing changed with how my plate looked. What changed was the ingredients that was in the things that were on my plate. And within that first month, I lost like 10 pounds, right? And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I'm not even changing anything. I'm literally still eating everything that I want to eat. And each week, I have something called Feed the Beast, right? So this is not something that you got to be like, okay, let me kiss this bread goodbye. Let me kiss this goodbye. I ain't gonna never see y'all again. Like, it's the enemy. No, like, once a week, even throughout my whole, like, e-guide, you get to feed the beast. What I learned with human behavior and then also suffering from having a food and sugar dependency is your brain and your body is going to constantly be in, it's going to constantly battle. You know, that's why the brain is so powerful. That's why we hear about like mind and muscle connection. Like with bodybuilders, they talk a lot about like the mind and muscle connection where, you know, turn off the music, get zoned in and feel the muscle that you want to grow. Like look at the muscle growing or think of that muscle growing and all of that. If you watch like a lot of, you know, the girls who lift and the girls who are really like serious about their lifting, they'll start talking about mind to muscle connection. And so it's the same thing with our body, mind to body connection. And when you are changing, your mind and your body is going to start acting out with each other. It's gonna start having a fight because you want to do something, you're reaching for something, so your body is doing something, or your mind is saying you want to do something, but your body is saying no. Like, I want to eat this, I don't want to eat that. You think you're being slick by getting no sugar added ketchup, baby? I see the words and I know it says no sugar added on there, and even though it tastes exactly the same, I want the one that has added sugar. So you're going to start having that battle with yourself. And usually that happens with every single diet you're on. Every single, and I don't call this a diet, I call this a lifestyle change. So every single lifestyle change you have probably had, if you look back, you could see where about day 3 to 4 is when you was like, I don't know if I could do this no more. Like, this is hard. Like, I shouldn't have signed up for this, or I'm about to have my cheat day and all of that. So I try to change our wording because, you know, words have power. Words have power. Excuse me, you guys. Sorry, you guys. Sorry so much. My kids just got home from school. So words have power. And so what we say and what we call things makes us feel a certain way. And so us, like, do you want to be known as a cheater? Do you want to be, what do you think about people who are cheaters? People who cheat in relationships, people who cheat on tests, people who cheat in life, people who have cheated you out your promotion at your job. Like, what do you think about when we say cheater? Even if we playing a game in fun and somebody did something, it's like, you cheated. Nothing about the word cheated has a good, like, thing, like meaning to it, right? And so when we automatically say we had a cheat day, we automatically put ourselves in a feeling of guilt. And depending on how you was raised and depending on what things, you know, trigger you and how you kind of move towards life, we want to get the guilt away from us, far, far away from us. And so I call them feed the beast days because we are taming this beast, but we need to feed it so it won't get too out of control to where we're not focusing on willpower. It's hard to have willpower when something that is innate to you, something is now just how you put your toilet paper on the roll or how you brush your teeth. You grabbing something with sugar is just as much as a habit as much as you do anything else in your life. And so it's going to take some time to redo that, right? And so at first, I mean, and still now, I don't really focus on me losing weight. I focus on what is the habit, what happened that week, how did I respond to it, what's my 1% change. And so you guys, I talk about the 1% shift or the 1% change all the time. It's not doing a whole leap and like cleaning out your whole refrigerator. For the new year, I don't want us to clean out our refrigerator. Like, I don't. if you drink if you drink Pepsi every day, I need you to ask yourself, how much water do I drink? Okay, so every time I drink Pepsi, I'm gonna drink water. So if I drink a can of Pepsi, I need to have an 8 ounce or whatever the size can is or bottle. I need to have that much water sitting by me. Like every time I drink this, I need to have this. If I haven't finished that water, I can't have another thing of Pepsi. And it's just like that simple. So you didn't really stop your Pepsi consumption or how much you drink. You just added in healthier things. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning, have your fiber every single day. I thought that fiber was just for metabolism. It was to like keep you regular, you know, your digestive tract, which that's a part of it. But it really is the bodyguard of sugar, of your insulin. So instead of your insulin and sugar going out to your bloodstream at once, fiber says, hold on, only 2 people can come to the club. We full right now. We full. So it's not going to let your sugar, all your I use sugar and insulin interchangeably, y'all. But it's not going to let all of that go to your liver and spike your blood sugar high. Because everything goes to your liver. Your liver is like the operating system. So your liver say, okay, you go to the bloodstream, you go to the fat cells, you go to here, you go to there. Like, this is what your liver do. And so I'm trying to like think of this and, you know, and so the fiber is the middle ground. It's saying you're all not going to go to the liver because the liver is going to get overwhelmed, and it's going to start saying, okay, just all go to the bloodstream. It's too many people here. Just all go to the bloodstream. All go to the fat cells. That's where y'all go. That's where y'all go. Your liver has gotten now into a habit of everything going into your fat cells because you maybe don't drink fiber every single day. You maybe don't do things right now to stabilize your insulin because you was unaware that your insulin even needs to be stabilized. You know, and so, or that your insulin levels even was high. And so guess what? After you eat, you feel dizzy. You feel drowsy. That's the sign. It feel like you got the itis, but you didn't have Thanksgiving. You literally just had like a piece of toast. You had a cracker, and you automatically feel like you need to take a nap. You need to take a nap after having a cracker. You know, so it's those different things. So I'm not gonna keep y'all long. Already been on here for a while. Like I said, I have a 4-week e-guide. It's on Cyber Monday sale right now for only $5. And it's originally $47, on sale for $5. It takes you week by week, and it's taming the beast. It's helping you conquer that sugar dependency, which in return is going to make you have sustainable weight loss. Like, we don't want to have to worry about if we eat a chip that we're going to gain 10 pounds overnight. Like, no, I don't have to go to the gym every day. I don't even have to really, I could lay in my bed and my body will still be in fat burning mode because I've learned how to reset it. And so, like I said, I've already lost 45 pounds. This is the most weight I've ever lost in my life. Like, you know, you say a number, but when you start losing the number, like, I had the number in mind. When I start seeing that I'm getting closer to that number, I didn't really think that my body was going to be able to lose that weight. That's like you might be saying you want to lose 100 pounds. Right. I promise you, once you lose the 50 pounds or the 60 pounds, you're going to be like, wow, like my body really had 50 to 60 pounds to lose. It's really crazy, y'all, but it's possible. So I just want you guys to let you know that it is possible. I also have the free insulin insight calls. We're just about halfway through with those. When those go, I don't know when those are going to come back because that just takes a lot of time, you know, to be able to talk to all you ladies, which I love, I appreciate. Like, I've already been having, you know, ladies buy the e-guide. I hope you enjoy it. I put so much time and effort into it. Any kind of question I had, I'm like, okay, let me do this. Let me write of why I'm doing this. And I try to break it all down. It's about 33 pages, but it takes you through week to week. I also have a free Facebook community. And so in that, you can always ask questions. Like, it's just so much that I'm trying to do to really get us to get this knowledge out here that's not getting told to us, because the doctors are waiting until we get a diagnosis to be able to prescribe us something, and to know like that is something that we can really do. Like, it's something we really can do. So y'all got this. I'm gonna encourage y'all. I'm Coach Christy. And until next time, y'all, I love y'all. Bye.